want to know which planet was causing your suffering? How about Earth?
Hey everyone, Brandflex here, back with a new Duels of Eden video. For today's video, I want to talk about the training mode and get really in-depth about what it can provide you and the use cases you can have for it, and why I spend so much time personally in that mode. Thanks to Soul is Dead for the comment and the recommendation. I spent a lot of time in this mode, and I wouldn't have realized rather about this comment that it's probably helpful for me to talk about it in depth because it is kind of unintuitive on the first opening, just because there are buttons hidden behind menus and the terms might be unfamiliar for newer fighting game players like myself. So hopping straight in, training mode is going to be on the third tab, and the way you can select the enemy bot is by right-clicking on the portrait, so you can see the blue highlight is moving along as I click. Your character is going to be the left click, which is the red portrait. So I guess you can also press S. How do you even... I guess you have to... I see this for controller. You have to move around and press S and then navigate back to the person you want. So we'll go ahead and do double saffron just to show it better examples later. And when you load into the training mode, it will always copy your deck. So you can see here, the UI can be, the menu rather, can be hidden shown with H or the top right corner. You can see that the deck is completely mirrored, and basically the bot will always have what you load in with. So before we really get into everything, I just want to talk about the things at the very top. So queued is just the buffer. This game has a buffering system where it'll tell you, like, where it'll memorize your next action. So you can see that it says move right, move left, move down, or like weapon, sub-weapon, fire 1, fire 2, which are my spell slots 1 and 2. And then hit stop is a mechanic that's not, I guess it's not really explained in the game, but when you do damage, when you do 3 or more damage, there's a certain amount of frames the game will pause for. So let me find a 3 damage spell. I'll go with 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 with these spells. So we'll do downfall for the very last one. And I'll talk about how I'm moving the bot in a second. But you can see here that when I hit downfall, the hit stop flashes for a second, and that's because I hit a 3 damage spell. You can see if I hit my sparkler, there is no hit stop. Well, actually, there's stops there. Interesting. I think that might be a bug because I think Saffron's W1 used to do 1 damage, so maybe there's not a hit stop related to it. You can see here the hit stop of 2 on my W2, which isn't reflected on my W1, and then when I use Bouncing Blade, you can see the hit stop of 3. And so yeah, I'll have to ask the developer about that one. Funny how I'm finding a bug while I'm trying to make a video, but that won't stop the video from being continued in this take. So combo on the right is essentially how many hits you've done in the combo string you have available, and whether or not you're comboing is determined by the gap number to the right. So if the gap is 0 or lower, you're comboing, and the moment the gap is 1 or 2 or more, the combo and the damage will reset. And obviously damage is pretty self-explanatory. And so the bot deck on the right is essentially how you adjust the bot's deck. So instead of having to exit and re-enter every time, you can just go into the bot's deck and like be like, maybe I want the bot to throw out acid rain and air rifle and practice with that. And the way you can make the bot play for you is you can go into the very first option where you can see it says bot none, and this options it has, you can just cycle through it and you can let the bot do a little mini gauntlet mode on you. You can have it shoot only its weapon, you can have it patrol around very slowly to simulate actual movement, you can have it go up or down only, you can have it like try and search for you but only move up or down to search for you. You can have it only use spells and no weapons, have it perma shield, move around really quickly, and then that's pretty much it. And the hard mode bot is probably the one you're going to be using the most of if you're just trying to learn spells. So like Acid Rain, I'm like, oh, how to play against Acid Rain. Let me just have the bot have Acid Rain on spamming, and they can see how I learn how to play against that if I just want to learn the movement and patterns for that spell. And so for the other options, we have the positionals. 0, 0 is going to be bottom left, and then as you increase the X, they go to the right, and then Y obviously on the bottom. As you increase Y, they go to the top. And then U is how you reset the positions. This is how you can reset the positions of the bot without having to reset the entire instance in case you're annoyed by the sound of, you know, the game starting over and over again, which is what I press a lot. But this way you can like practice like, oh, like sparkler step into whirl. Can I do it from this direction? Okay, maybe I want to see if the combo is doable from here, and then so on and so forth. And then mana, obviously, mana bar goes up really fast with infinite mana on, turn it off, and it's going to be more normal. And then Q shuffle is essentially instant shuffle. So you can see I'm shuffling here, and it's literally instant, and if I turn off, it takes the actual game time, or the normal shuffle time. Restart, just resetting the entire instance in case you've messed up a lot of stuff, like HPs are low, maybe you built a bunch of structures, maybe you've used Innervate like 5,000 times and 5,006 mana, and you just want to reset the instance. That's what shuffle is for. And then pause is really good if you're just trying to see, if you're just trying to like, pause the game entirely. And that's, again, really good because sometimes you just want to, sometimes you want to throw out a spell, and you just want to see how it looks and just pause it. And then speed is really helpful if you're trying to go for like combos and be like, okay, is this combo actually difficult? Or am I just not pressing it right? Or like how close to impossible is this combo going to be? And my favorite test with this one was Vivisection. Just because Vivisection is a very low recovery spell. So there was a point in time where I was trying to figure out, oh, like, can I Sparkle Step with Vivisection? So I was like going on 0.25 speed to see if maybe it was a skill difference or if Vivisection was no longer combable. And you can see there's a gap 2 at the top, which means that it basically is no longer combable. So that's what the speed is really useful for like very fast-paced combos. Step frame and step back are going to be really good for frame counting. And so again, not again, I said this in a previous take, but this game has a pretty generous buffer system. It only buffers your next action, but you can see at the queued on the top here, you can see that it tells me I'm going to buffer my weapon, so my weapon's coming out. If I hit my weapon, you can see move left. If I walk to the right, or if I dodge and walk right, you can see it says Q right and all that. So that's really good because with that buffer system, I can actually hold down my weapon or a walk and just hit step frame. So I can be like, okay, how long does it take for Sparkler to actually come out and hit somebody from this far away? I can like hold Sparkler down, press step frame, and then start counting from here. Oh, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 etc. Right? So I can count the exact number of frames and see just how generous or how quickly this spell moves. And I can even go backwards to see like, oh, maybe you're trying to learn how to parry something. So like I want to see how generous it is, like how early I need a shield to parry Saffron Sparkler. So here you can see I'm moving it back and forth. So like, I'm like, okay, maybe here I can start buffing my shield, and then you can see my shield comes up, and we'll let go so that the shield goes down immediately, so we can get the parry window. And I can be like, oh, like that wasn't early enough, right? So you go all the way back, then my shield's down. So maybe here I start holding shield instead, and I can let go, and then I can be like, oh, okay, so that's my parry window. So it's about this far. Like I have about this many frames to hold parry. Like I have to react within like 10 frames of the Saffron pressing Sparkler to actually get the parry off, which is pretty difficult. But that's what step frame is really useful for. So now we have the recording and play recording. So you saw me earlier click on this for the Sparkler, but basically the game can record your inputs and mimic what you did. You have to have the exact same deck to actually get the exact same results out and have the bot in the exact same place, obviously, to get the exact same results. But let's say that I'm trying to like see how easy it is to walk through Sparkler step or Wave Sparkler. I can hit start recording and then do the combo myself, and then I can have the bot do it for me instead. So I'm like, oh, like can I do a Daigo parry? And then like this is how you could practice that, by having the bot do the combo themselves. And again, the bot does do exact mimics. So you can see the bot didn't actually move at all, even though I was recording a Sparkler step to the right. And that's because I have to record a Sparkler step to the left for the bot to actually do it properly. And so here you can see this time the bot's actually gonna walk. So yeah, save state, load state. I'm pretty sure I actually haven't used this very often, but this is just like to teleport back to what you were doing in that moment. So if like hit W1 and I save state that, then it's gonna be mimicking that exact moment. So if you guys have played emulator games, then I'm sure you know about that already. And then you can also go through your palettes here. These will be all palettes in the game, even ones you don't have unlocked. So if you're curious about a palette and how it looks in the game, let's say you're playing Witch Saffron, because Witch Saffron is the superior Saffron skin, and the colors are actually different depending on the palette you're on. You can see yellow, pink, white, orange, like, yeah. And you're like, oh, I don't know which Saffron skin I want to buy. You can go through the palettes here and then buy it to use it in the real game. And you can also take a look at the very fancy Chaos and Order and Green Bit skins here, even if you don't have them unlocked, because again, all palettes are unloaded or unlocked in this mode. So finally, we get to the extra tab, and this is probably the point of the video that I probably should have put earlier, but this is also the place where a lot more information is shown. So you can actually control the bot by using this button, and this will be default keys. So if you like readjust your keybinds, then you will have to change. You have to remember that because my keybinds are a little different. Like I move my arrow keys, so now I'm on arrow keys, and default dodge is on shift, and all this other nonsense. Like you just have to remember that this is not going to be. It's not what you have on your side if you've adjusted off of default keys. And then hitboxes, like if you want to get a nice recording, you can turn off hitboxes and states. You can also have your HP be adjusted depending on, like, because this is important for Maple because Maple's first weapon scales off of HP, so you can check to see if combos are true for Maple off 100, 60, 30 HP by using this button. Out of stun is really important because out of stun will show you, will be a much easier check to see if combos are true, or it'll be a way if you're loading a really tight combo for the first time for you to see in real time if your combo is working properly. So this combo just isn't true to begin with, but I'll show you guys this example. So let's say that I'm just trying to see like, oh, like I'm curious to see what combos I can use that are a true combo or not. So I'm like, oh, like maybe Whirl Minigun is true, but I buffered Minigun right after Whirl, so I would know that it would come out immediately. You can see that the bot still hit steps. So if someone has Whirl Minigun in your hand, then you know for the future, oh, I can just buffer up or down and move out of Minigun if that button's or if that combo's there. But on the other hand, if I went Minigun Whirl, you can see that the bot's not moving and moves after the Minigun's over. And then that way you can see like, oh, like I can't move out of that. So that's actually a true combo. Same thing with shield and dodge. If I, for example, instead of trying to move, I'm like, oh, so maybe Whirl Minigun can be shielded. I can turn the bot to shield. You can see the effect of the shield being denied coming out. And now you know for a fact that you can't actually shield out of Whirl Minigun. You can only walk out of Whirl Minigun. And this is another place where step frames is really helpful because you can actually step frame. Like I'm buffering Minigun, right? So I'm using a step frame to see the exact gap. And then you can see that the gap at the very top is 1. So you can just do it. You can do it this way instead to see what the, I guess, defensive options are for the bot. Because if you don't know, again, something I probably should have talked about way sooner, a gap of 1 can always be hit stepped. So again, Whirl Minigun is a really good example of that. You can walk up or down or buffer up or down to get out of those combos. But there's also spells that can be shielded or dodged in time. And so I don't actually know if I have a good example of that here off the top of my head. We can just go out of training mode really quickly and go to a character that I know for a fact can be shielded. So gap 2 can be shielded because it takes 1 frame for your character to pull out the shield and then another frame for the shield to be activated. And so if I go here, go to extra, out of stun shield, if I do Chi Rider W1, walk back 2, you can see that's a gap 1, so you can't shield that. But there is a certain combo. Let's just go with Ragnaros. So Rag will obviously shield break, but just an example of the gap. So W2 into Ragnaros for Chi Rider is a gap 3. So you can see that the shield came out and they did protect themselves from 12 damage, but they were still shield broken because Rag doesn't have damage to do that. But again, if we were to go step frame, this way we can also confirm that it's a gap 2. Oh, it's a gap 2 now. Yeah, it's a gap 2. So you can hit step or shield Chi Rider's W2 Ragnaros, which obviously isn't super helpful because that's already a ton of damage coming out, but that is a way to check for that. And then if something is a gap 4, then you can dodge out of it. I don't have any gap 4 combos off the top of my head. I think we have to go back to Saffron for that. But again, this is very helpful to know because maybe you're trying to learn defense more properly in this game. You can see the bot can dodge, and if I turn off out of stun, we can see like, okay, so I'm gonna turn on Q Shuffle again, and then Thunder, buffer my W1, and then we go step frame and see that it's gap 4. So gap 4, Thunder, W1 can always be hit step, shielded, dodge, whatever. And then the last thing you should know is that, concerning these numbers at least, is that there has to be a gap 5 for you to completely clear the spell. So again, with Thunder W1, you can see that the bot will move because I have it to, or maybe not. I guess the bot's just not moving. We can do it this way instead. I can have the bot do Thunder W1 instead of me. And you can see again that this is why this recording thing is really useful. So you can hit play recording. I can have a bot Thunder me. I'm gonna go step by step. I'm buffering down, you can see. And then when the bot hits me or shoots me, you can see that even though I am outside of the hit stun, I still get hit by the W1 as it comes out because it's a gap 4. I believe it has to be a gap 5 for you to clear the hitbox vertically. You can even see the states here just to kind of confirm a bit better. And I think horizontally it's a bit more time. So you can see here that it's essentially 1 frame because the next frame, maybe it's like a bit more because I need to be down here. So maybe it's a gap 6 for you to clear the hitboxes vertically. And just something really funny that you guys want to see is like, you can see that when I move up or down, the hitbox of my character is like pretty straightforward. But if I were to move left or right instead, you can see that the hitbox kind of stretches at the very end, which is why I say that I think the hitbox for the hitboxes for left to right movement is a bit different. I don't know, again, don't know if that's a bug, but it is something to be wary of when you're playing the game. So with that aside, we have step to idle. I don't actually know what that does. I've never pressed step to idle in my life. It probably just means it's like go back to what you were doing. You can go to the stages in the background with 3. Deck order is really useful if you're trying to learn combos and see how your deck flows with each other flows within itself without having to go into gauntlet mode. So earlier you could see that my deck was exactly the same, but now if I shuffle, it's gonna be slightly different every time I hit the shuffle button. So that's really good to see how well your deck flows in itself. Infinite shield, you can see that if I hold shield down without infinite shield, it goes down normally and then slowly climbs back up. With infinite shield, the shield generation is much faster, but it still will go down normally. So you do have to like let it go up and go down despite having infinite shield on. And then infinite HP is funny. It just sets your HP to 9999, and you can still die because it doesn't refresh your HP when you get hit. But it's more just like a, like if you die from this, you're probably abusing a bug or you've been in this specific training mode instance for a little too long. Green screen, I won't press it because it's more of a flashbang, but just be aware that this is probably pretty good for editing. Input history is a very standard fighting game thing that is pretty recent for this game. I think it's like how long you're holding the button for, so I don't really know how helpful it is because like it's not measuring me pausing. Interesting notification, sorry about that. I don't want to do another take, so I'll leave that in the video, but that jump scared me too. So the input history is mostly helpful if like we're doing perfect buffer combos. You can see how long it took for me to hold down each thing. But again, because it doesn't have the weight in between each click, it might not be the most helpful thing, but it is very helpful if someone's doing very tight combos. And then if you want to, you can swap the bot's outfit as well on your end. And I guess there's a advanced thing that I never turned off. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the training mode overview. I know it was a bit long-winded, but hopefully it was helpful. Just as an example of things that are really good for training mode, just to like show the reason why I'm always in this mode basically. Because of how simple it is to like reset instances. So let's say that, okay, so backslash just got buffed this patch as of like a few hours ago. So I'm curious to see what combos I can do with backslash that I couldn't do before. So I can be in training mode like, okay, so I can do backslash and I can do this combo. Okay, let's see this combo. Let me like keep practicing it, see if there's like a timing I need to do, because maybe I don't want to use my W1. Maybe it's like too early, like that time was too early. So you can see that, you can see how good it is for practicing combos because you can constantly reset the combo and like see if you are doing something correctly or doing something incorrectly with it. Because for example, one of the more advanced saffron techs is used with vivisection. So with vivisection, I can like do like walk backwards and then like sparkler with VV. But if I do it wrong, it won't properly cast. So you can see like I can constantly reset, get my practice in. This time I did it wrong because it didn't combo with auto slash. But if I do it properly, it should combo. So this is the reason why I spend a lot of time in training mode, because labbing is really fun for me. Let's see if you can get this off. I'm pretty sure this is possible. Might not be because it's yeah. And then I can see like here, like, oh, maybe it's because I'm not pressing the buttons properly, so I can do the step back frame if I want to. I can even slow it down to 2.5 if I want to. And again, this is a really good way to see, like, is it a pilot issue? Is it like the game's not actually letting you do this combo? And you can see, yeah, like it just didn't work. But the other way you can really use training mode for your advantage is by doing quote unquote warm up practices. Where you can have the bot just like take a bunch of AoE spells, like let's say that's sweeper salvo align. We'll just do a basic one so that you go easy on the ears, and we set the bot to hard mode. And this way you can just like run around and try and practice avoiding the bot's spells. And so this is a really good way to learn how to like get used to your character's movement, because a lot of these spells, they aren't that bad to dodge once you have really good awareness of your character's movement and timing. But it can be pretty hard to do if you're not as comfortable with the movement in the game. So you can always set up spells that you think are really rough, like Align Rag, for example, is a new player killer. So I can set the bot to run Align Rag, and then just have it shoot a line into Rag randomly, and this way I can practice whether or not it's like, well, just practice being aware of the combo, right? So that'll be it for this video. Hopefully it was useful. Let me know, and sorry about the mouse being, I'm pretty sure the mouse was just floating around on the screen the entire time, so I'm really sorry that was distracting. But hopefully you guys really get the value out of training mode like I have, and if you didn't, please let me know what I could cover better. Obviously, this is always kind of a one-take sort of deal, and I just ramble a lot, so it is what it is. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.